Okay, so got a bunch of crazy comic book news to go over. Got a whole bunch of stuff, actually. And I'm just going to condense it into one video instead of making a bunch. I think it's better that way, and I think it'll be a better video for it. I want to start stuff off with good news. This is good stuff here. If you were a 90s kid, you might remember the X-Men animated series. This is what kind of defined the X-Men. That, along with Jim Lee's run of the 90s, they all have Jim Lee's costumes in this. But this series, for a lot of people, is the X-Men. And it looks like it might be coming back. A while ago, there was a rumor that a lot of the creators of the show wanted to come back and finish it. They wanted to do a final proper season. And given everything that's going on, I think that might be happening. And it's also leaked that Kevin Feige is a fan of the show. And since Kevin Feige runs all of Marvel now, it's likely that this could be a reality. Now, Disney Plus did something pretty interesting. What they did was they updated some of the art. So fans spotted new artwork that popped up on the streaming service of the X-Men's 90s animated series characters. The art features updated versions of the characters that resemble the look from the 90s show, including Professor X, Magneto, Cyclops, Wolverine, Rogue, Storm, Beast, Gambit, Jubilee, and Jean Grey. And this is pretty much the team of the 90s X-Men right here. And this is kind of strange. You know, what's going on with this? Why would you do this out of nowhere? Like, there's really no reason to do this, but it's been done. It really just adds speculation that they're going to bring this show back, and I think that'd be pretty cool. So this is good news. I want to throw some good news out there. Anybody that was a fan of this show should be excited, because it would be great to see it come back and get a proper ending after all this time. Hell, it'd be great to just see it come back in general. And like I said, if you've never seen it and you have Disney Plus, what do you have to lose? Go watch it. It's a really good show. It holds up after all this time. It really does. Next up, let's go ahead and go back to everyone's favorite She-Hulk writer, back at it again. I told you, didn't I call this? Because everyone was going after her for her little Star Wars tweet, comparing everything that's going on right now, the thing that I can't talk about, to Rise of Skywalker. Pretty bad take. She ended up deleting it because everybody on her crazy NPC side of the aisle decided to jump on her for it. And what I say she'd do, she'd probably make a Men Are Trash tweet, and that would bring everything back. Look at this. April 2nd makes this tweet. Every straight relationship. You see Nicole Kidman with Oscar the Grouch coming out of the trash can. Ha 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 ha. She's saying men are trash. That's what she's saying. Every straight relationship. See, this is the thing that I'm saying. Like, it's toxic for men. It's toxic for men to hook up with women. That's what it is now. So she makes a basic tweet like this. 17,000 retweets. 157 NK growing likes. Like, so original, saying men are trash. Don't see that all the time on Twitter. Wow. I'm sure your extensive, small background in making documentaries and your 3 books that you've written will help you write a series about She-Hulk for the Marvel Universe. The person that you got triggered by that said you were not qualified to write this show yet was absolutely true. So, this is basically her job application right here, folks. This is how you get a job in the industries now. You have to say men are trash. Stuff like this, boom, they'll hire you. This is definitely how you get a job in comics. I call tweets like this job applications, because that's what they are. Hey, I'm available for work. What do you got for me? Anyway, moving along, we have more bad news for some of the comic book industry. IDW, publisher of comics. One of the, I got to be honest, I think probably the third, maybe the fourth. I don't know, because Image Comics is more creator owned. So the creators actually own those properties, and they just more so distribute them. So I'd say IDW is probably, after DC and Marvel, they're probably the third biggest of all of them. But they mostly rely on franchises to make their comic books. They don't really have too many, original franchises that they make books on. But the ones that they did, some of them, V-Wars and October Faction, were getting Netflix shows. Those are now canceled. This is bad news for IDW because unlike Marvel and DC, They don't have big daddy money from Warner Brothers and from Disney to keep them floating. So they lose money every year. They just lost another $26 million. I don't cover that too much. Tug does. He does a lot of the numbers for what's going on with IDW. And every year they consistently lose money and beg for money. They'll put on like these little banquets and say, hey, we're IDW. We're going to do okay. Give us some money, man. You know, we want to keep going. We got these new plans. And then they always say, we're going to have profitability next year. We're going to make money next year. Don't you worry about it. And then they post $1 million losses every year. It's pretty funny and sad at the same time. But in an industry where comic book professionals are talentless hacks who crap on fans, it's really not that big of a surprise. Speaking of what's going on in the comic book industry, that big-brained idea to save comics, where they're like, we're going to give you digital first. Digital first comics will save everything. That is not going to save anything because they're not moving forward with it. Because, thankfully, Marvel and DC have decided they're not going to go ahead and do that idea, which I'm happy to see, because it was a stupid idea that wasn't going to save comic books. It was half-assed and really not that well thought out. You had a lot of people celebrating that they'd saved the industry. The industry is saved, folks. That's not the case. The industry is not saved. This was a stupid idea. Going digital isn't going to entice people to jump aboard who had been reading physical comic books their entire life. You're asking a lot of people to do things they've never done. And if there's anything about humans that I think is pretty universal, is that we're all pretty damn resistant to change. And this was a stupid idea to just shoehorn in. You can do something like this gradually over time, kind of try to move it in slowly, but good luck getting people to jump on this on the short term, especially when we don't even know how long things are going to last right now. So this is dumb. It's not going forward. It was a stupid idea. They just need to work on getting the industry settled right now. So this is done. Donny Cates, though, getting pretty desperate, thinks he's going to save the industry by asking people, it would be pretty amazing if one of the actors who became multi-millionaires would give a little something back to help shops and creators who enabled them to have their lives. Hashtag just saying. So he's asking people to give back to the industry, like Robert Downey Jr. Please give $1 million to comic book shops. But Donny Cates, not that long ago, you said, sincerely, relax, man. I work in the industry and have for a long time. We're doing fine. I promise people have been saying comics were dying since there have been comics. It's all okay. Well, Donny, why are you asking people to save the industry now? I thought everything was fine. I thought comics were going to make it through this. If you remember, I did a video on Cates the other day. This is the writer of Thor, Venom, Guardian of the Galaxy, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Thanos, Doctor Strange, God Country, Baby Teeth, Redneck, a Tomahawk. He was the guy who said, if you don't like New Warriors, well, you are an istophobe, and I don't want you buying comics. He also got owned by somebody pretty hard. Said, final thought, if you yourself are celebrating the potential loss of small businesses and people's entire livelihoods due to global, you know what I'm talking about, but I can't say it, that is making people's lives rough, please ask yourself if that is the kind person you want to be. Have a good night, everyone. Stay safe. This guy runs right in, owns him completely, says, now you care about the small business comic shops, yet you've actively helped and hurting them over the past decade. Sit your virtue signaling arse down, as there are those of us who were talking about the small comic shops before there was a problem that I can't talk about because it's YouTube. And I thought that was great. Why has he hurt comic book shops? Because, well, what did he do the other day? He called everyone that didn't like New Warriors a bunch of istophobes. Trashed them. There's plenty of reasons people don't like bad comics. But, like I said, if you criticize these people that, don't have good workout, or they put a bunch of woke trash in the book, what's going to happen? People are going to criticize it. People aren't going to be happy with it. And then these people come out and, like clockwork, trash fans say, we don't want you. We don't need you. We think you're trash. You're not needed. Like Gail Simone came out and said, oh, well, the tentpoles of the comic book industry are white cis males, and it's absolutely okay to chip away at that. basically saying, we don't want you as fans. We want these other we want these other fans over here. They're not showing up ever, but we want them. We don't need you at all. Get out of here, people that give us money and keep us working. Get out of here. These people are horrible, horrible people. I think some of the worst people I've ever seen on the internet are comic book professionals. Some of the worst people, and they've absolutely destroyed the comic book industry. Everything going on right now didn't destroy the comic book industry. It accelerated what was already happening. And, you know, I talk a lot about comic book shops, and I like comic book shops, and I want them to survive. But I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Not all comic book shops are immune to criticism. Some of them have been complicit and joined in with the comic book creators and literally been licking their boots and the comic book industry's boots for the past couple of years, not kind of waking up to what's going on. There's not a lot of them, but there's quite a few of them. Okay, there's a few of them. That's a better way to say it. Quite a few would say that there's a lot. There's not a lot. There's a few. And look no further than Atomic Basement Comics. This is exactly what I'm saying right here. So Atomic Basement Comic Shop owner Mike Wellman threatens to take Ethan Van Sciver out of existence. You can go ahead and read the headline right there and see what he really said. And he went on a whole big unhinged rant talking about how he's going to show up at Ethan Van Sciver's house and end him. Like, it's pretty disgusting. In fact, it could be charged criminally, more than likely, I think. I don't think that would be a problem here, but he doesn't think that that's an issue. He's like, this is all normal behavior. I'm in the comic book industry. What? So this all comes from a response to Larry Hama, who talked about how people don't like a lot of the people in the comic book industry. The ones that pretty much say what he's saying, that call everybody istophobes. And, you know, he's doubling down on his wokeness, basically putting it out there. Look, I'm Larry Hama. I'm looking for work. I'm looking for work. Give me some work, people. Ethan Van Sciver comes in, says, hey, you know, listen, everybody loves you. Everybody likes you. Richard C. Meyer praises you regularly. That's Comics Matter, if you don't know that. And then this weirdo comes in and says, I can't wait to see you at a show, Ethan, and beat the living daylights out of you. I am literally going to beat the daylights out of you. How dare you insult legends like Larry Hama as well as our industry itself? F you. I am a libtard with fists. You're going to feel them next time we are at a convention together. I'm going to beat the daylights out of you in front of everybody. You are such a cowardly little bee, Ethan Van Sciver. Let's fight. Let me feed you a fist sandwich. You little bee. He's so mad. So mad about it. What is this problem? And it goes on and on. I'm going to probably go over this tomorrow in tomorrow's live stream. Maybe we'll do a dramatic reading of the tweets. That'll be fun to do, actually, I think. We'll have a good time making fun of everything going on with this situation here. But this is what people deal with. You want to criticize the industry? Well, I'm going to show up at your house and end you completely. Like, he literally says that. This is something he actually says. You can see it right here. I'm going to show up at your doorstep, and that's going to be the end of you. You're done. I mean, that's here it is right here. Give me your home address. Right here. What? This is strange. This is weird. These are the comic book shops that I'm talking about right here. This guy isn't helping anything. His comic book shop will likely fold through this whole mess. And that's the sad reality. So anybody for working for him, I feel bad for, but this guy obviously did nothing to try to help the industry. Anyway, that is pretty much it, guys. Let me know what you think about this. I'd like to hear what you have to say. How do you feel about this mess? There's a lot that I went over, but I wanted to get caught up with all of the crazy news that's happened over the past 2 days. So let me know what you think about all that. Also, share the video. Throw a like up if you would. Those are very important, especially the sharing part. That's literally the only way videos get seen anymore. Also, make sure you're still subscribed. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment, make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that, and subscribe if you're new.